Okay, so the top tips that I have for you to look out for, or red flags, when you're starting to work with a new client or when you're recruiting a new client or something like that. So the first thing I ask, even on the first call over the phone, the initial intro call, is why they left the other office or their other former media buyer, and I really try and investigate, what they expected, and why things broke down, why it fell down, why it broke. So the thing I'm trying to get at is that I want to understand if this is a problematic client that really gets into everything, asks questions, or maybe they want to just like squeeze whatever you have to give them and leave. Sometimes they also want to, get more services than you actually offer or that you initially proposed. Maybe they want to learn media buying and you're not there to be a teacher and stuff like that. So that's the first red flag. Second red flag would be throughout the negotiation phase. So if a client or a prospect, a potential client, allows themselves to really negotiate very small details or small percentages and stuff like that, usually these types of clients would be problematic moving on, because they either don't have the margin to pay you or they're just cheap. And also, I don't think they understand that their interest and your interest are aligned. That means that both of the sides want you to make money, and potentially a lot of money from that deal, because as much money as you make, you're more interested and you have more interest in making sure that that campaign stays profitable, and scale it and spend more time on it. So the more money you make, the more focus you're going to give. A client that doesn't understand that and thinks that all of your clients deserve or are getting the same focus is either delusional or really lives in la la land. So that's another red flag. Third thing is if they have in-house media buyers. That's usually a bad sign if they're small, if they're not scaled, if they're not big. Usually that means that they're either looking for you to coach their team, or they're looking for their team to learn from you and just duplicate and copy whatever you're doing. I don't know lots of people who both stay with agencies and internal teams of media buyers. I know people who do internal media buying teams plus affiliates, but I don't know agencies plus affiliates, unless they're extremely big, and that's one of their strategies to grow throughout a longer period of time. Another red flag is if the client constantly investigates and asks you questions, and I always like to say that it feels like they feel like you have a secret sauce, something that you're hiding, something that you're not sharing with them, and that is usually a bad sign, because that's probably how that person looks at the world, and that's an indication of that. And a cheater looks at if people are cheating, you know what I mean? So that type of person, in my experience, is usually the type of person that's going to be very hard to manage. You're going to have to campaign and explain and really sell on a lot of the things that you want to do in your campaigns, or with the campaigns that you manage for them. Another thing, if you hear throughout the time that you work with him, or even if you got lucky before that, that he doesn't pay other suppliers or other people who work with him, doesn't have to be specifically advertising agencies or stuff like that. So if you hear he doesn't pay either his employees or something like that, that's usually a sign that it's only time for, or till it would get to you. Also, if you work with him and he lets himself treat you with disrespect, badmouth you, talk over you, something that seems aggressive, huge red flag. Consider the fact that you're going to have a very bad experience working with him. Another and final red flag that I want to share with you is that when you work with him, if you have access to his Facebook, Instagram pages, and you get to see that a lot of people are complaining about the product, about customer service, stuff like that, that's usually a small red flag. It doesn't mean anything about the company or even the person, but you want to see and kind of like look at if that person is selling garbage. They might be a shady person that's not looking for really something stable to build. So thank you so much for listening to this video. If you like my videos, make sure that you comment below. If you have any questions, make sure that you share, make sure that you subscribe. Thank you so much.